All right, Arthur.
We don't need to give away stuff on this show because we know that people listen because they love us, and they watch because they love us. We don't need to be giving them 10 grand away every week or.
If we had the budget, we'd buy our viewers and our listeners. Hello, Roy the Whippet Man.
Hello, Alex, all right, mate?
Yeah.
This is for the Doc. I don't know if you saw the programme the other day, about or fortnight ago, on about making coffins, Rolls Royces, guitars.
Oh, someone told me about. There's a company called. I've forgotten the name of it, but if you want to look at funny coffins, and I'm selling those of these.
Jeff's daughter could be listening.
Look on this website. It's www.colourfulcoffins.com. Colourfulcoffins.com. You will see some incredible coffins on there.
These were terrific,
Yeah.
Roy,
that's all I wanted to phone you and let you know if you've seen the programme or not.
are you off now then, Roy?
Roy, before you go, I need you to...
He waited 20 minutes to say
Roy,
that.
could you respond to this email? I'll quickly read it. It says, Alex and Doc, I refuse to shop in Newport any longer. The reason, I'm intimidated. I'm fed up with Newport, but only on a Tuesday. The thing is, she says, it's not youngsters, it's SAGA louts. She says, these old people are jostling and pushing...
Is this Market Day, Doc?
Market Day, of course it is, yeah. She says they're dangerous. The whole atmosphere in Newport on a Tuesday is intimidating and threatening. Should I no longer feel confident enough to go in on a Tuesday? She says, I'm not surprised most ASBOs are now issued against the over 50s. She says, and if you don't believe me, Alex, do your show from the square in Newport on a Tuesday and see for yourself how awful things are down there. That's from a woman called Mrs. Howe, who's out in the West Wing.
Roy, have you ever come across SAGA louts?
No, but now you've got it going. You'll probably see all the oldies there, nail nails and baseball shins, all that lot, like,
What are they doing? I mean, are they pushing? Are they kicking? Have they got the old baseball caps on?
I think old ladies and little old...
Better youthful, mate. The bread and better youth. All right, then, there you go. Bye.
Many years ago, I was a chairman of my kids' school.
He's not listening. He's
school PTA, right? And we organised some jumble sale or something. I had to get involved in it. And on Saturday, and they said, opens at 1 o'clock, opens at 1 o'clock. Righto, I said. So they spread out all this gear, old clothes and rubbish. It all looked like rubbish to me on the desk. And we advertised the local paper and put the banner up outside the school. And
did you have any bunting?
Probably. About an hour before... people, these old grannies, were queuing up outside the school trying to get in. And the woman who'd been the chairman had said to me, whatever you do, don't let any of those people, they're professionals. They're professionals. I thought, what do you mean they're professionals? A bunch of old grannies. And I tell you what, honestly, by the time we had to fight to keep them out, and when we opened those doors at 1 o'clock, and it was only like 20p to get in, they more or less flung their 20p at us, and they elbowed and fought their way around those tables. So determined were they, because apparently they realised there are some bargains to be had, but you've got to be in first. And a lot of these old grannies, and I guess they must be the same in the market on a Tuesday, they know you've got to get in there to get the bargains.
We're going to take a break, then we're going to be back. 01983 822 002 is the number to call. Right, now we've got a great email from Stoke-on-Trent, which we're going to read out in a mo. But before we do, let's go to Pat Frampton in Newport. Hi, Pat.
Hiya.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Right, SAGA louts.
Yes. I'm of the age where I need the help that SAGA give you, and they are very helpful. And a couple of years ago, I went with someone to Crete. And one night, everybody was sort of gathered around.
Is this going to be one of those Shirley Valentine stories, is it?
No.
All right.
Everybody was sort of gathered around. And because the rep couldn't answer a particular question that a man who'd had too much to drink at the time, he just landed her one straight in the face and gave her the most horrendous black eye and bleeding nose. He was 71, she was 28.
Good Lord.
So, I mean, he was put on a plane and sent home after she'd made inquiries what happened. But I'm just saying, it don't only happen here.
No, well, Pat, I watched this programme. It's always on Sky 3. Well, about every 6 months it's repeated on Sky 3, called Pensioners on ASBOs. And it's just incredible. And there are more people over 50, or maybe over 60, on ASBOs than teenagers.
Well, I think the older people are getting fed up with the way world is, and they're just taking it out on everybody else. I don't agree with it, but to see that happen to a young girl by an old man... I mean, he wasn't raging drunk, but he'd been sitting having a few whiskies, and he just landed her straight in the face.
Do you know, if this call had come from Henry, I reckon people would think, oh yeah, it wouldn't be. But obviously, you are, reliable witness, as they would say.
Well, it wasn't only me. I mean, there was a room full of others.
It is incredible.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, everybody talked about it for the rest of the holiday.
Do you think it's strange that maybe, old people almost seem to be proud that they can say what they think? As you get older, you say, well, I call a spade a spade.
Hang on a minute. Let me just interrupt you there. You may remember, Pat, and you can get back to this, Doc. There was a thing in the mail we read out about a year ago. There was a photograph of Victor Meldrew, and there was a thing in the mail, and it says, why are old people rude? The reason they are rude, there's a medical reason they're rude. As their brain cells die off, the ones that die off first are the ones that tell you what to say and what not to say. And if you remember the very first episodes of the Golden Girls, the little lady in the Golden Girls, Estelle Getty, do you remember her? The whole comedy of the program, that whole anchor in this was that she had come out of the old people's home to live with the Golden Girls. She had had a stroke, so she'd say what she thought, so she'd tell Blanche that she's a whore, because whereas everybody else had stepped round it, because she'd had a stroke and those brain cells had been affected.
No, I think there's a limit.
So, Doc, sorry, you can pick up on what you're saying. I just wanted to...
Well, I think older people, they almost seem proud to upset people because they, when we're our age, we still pull our punches. If we upset with someone, we know that it's not the right thing to do, is to be aggressive and have a go. We kind of temper our language, don't we?
As you get older, you get fed up seeing all the youngsters getting away with so much.
Well, what do you think they get away with?
Well, everything, really. I mean, they're rude, and they cannot get punished, or they don't get punished, because the police, the authorities, the teachers, the headmasters, they're too frightened to do anything about it.
Whereas, of course, in your day, if you forgive the expression, you couldn't get away with bad behaviour at school because you'd have got the cane or the slipper or whatever it might be.
We used to get the plimsoll.
Well, even in our day. Even in our day, you would have the cane or the slipper.
There's no deterrent at all, and people now are getting to the point where they're just going to do and say what they like.
But I don't think we would solve the problem by bringing back beating children as they used to beat you and us.
But there's got to be something.
You see, the thing is, Pat, I think a lot of people think that the chav nature, as far as behaviour is concerned, is only for the young people that have grown up with it. But your people who are old now were quite young in the early 60s, mid 60s.
Yes, but I mean, we still had all this, what they used to call Beatlemania. But people used to go mad, but there was hardly any accident, beatings in the crowd and that sort of thing. They were just pleased to see them. But now, wherever there's a gathering of people, there always seems to be trouble breaking out.
Yeah, but we always talk about now the knife culture and knife crime and all that. What about the teddy boys? A lot of those teddy boys had flick knives in the
fights down at Brighton, the Mods and Rockers.
Yeah, in the late 50s.
But a lot of it didn't include knife in their friends. They had them, and perhaps they threatened with them, but the papers weren't full of he knifed his friend and all the rest of it. But they did have them, but now they've got them. And
I do wonder, whether it's just that the news travels faster and bad news travels fastest, that we all have this kind of perceived increase in fear of crime, and whether it's really, just because teenage boys are stabbing each other in London, does that necessarily mean that we've got much to worry about down here?
Well, you never know. You just never know.
All right, Pat, thank you.
I'm really sorry for the way the world's going.
Thank you, Pat.